I have an interesting perspective on what I think is going to happen to the corporate world in 10 to 15 years. I think that this whole 9 hours a day in an office sitting behind a computer screen is going to go away. I don't think it's going to be a thing anymore. I think enough people in this generation are waking up to the fact that they don't want to live that life. It's becoming very, very clear that people know they don't want that. And companies, these big corporation companies, are refusing to change their work policies, right? It is unbelievable to me how during COVID, a lot of people went to working remote and they got accustomed to working remote from their homes and stayed efficient. And then they wanted to go right back to the old ways and in office. And then employees are like, well, we were able to work from home efficiently and effectively. Why can't we do that whenever? Why do we have to be in an office? Because it's all a control thing. It's all a control thing, right? They want to be able to monitor and control your every move, micromanage.
Now, that is a bold statement, but that is a thought a lot of us were having, especially after the pandemic, was, yo, why can't we just work from home continuously? Like a lot of us was really, really productive at working at home, and we could get the job done working at home. So why is it that we need to go back? Well, I will say this, and let's be very, very honest, okay? Let's have an honest conversation here, because this is interesting. Not everyone was productive at home. There was a lot of people that are finding ways to, have it where the mouse moves, where you're active. And there was so many things that people were doing to try to not work. Or so many people actually, what I found out was working 2 or 3 jobs at the same time, not letting the employer know. 2 or 3 full-time jobs at the same time. So not everyone was actually really productive at home. Now, I am not anti 9 to 5. I actually think that some people want that 9 to 5 culture. There's a lot of people out there that prefer going into the office, which when I was working from home, I thought it was insane. Those people telling me, I want to go into office. I want to go into office. But they're just upset by it. And I understand because there's two sides to it, right? There's some people who they love human interaction and the interaction they get is only within the office. And then there's other people that don't, right? They rather just chill at home because they have either a roommate or someone that's going to go in the house later on, and that's how they have the human interaction. Now, saying that in a few years a 9 to 5 will not be around, no. It will always be around, right? It will always be around. Now, people waking up and recognizing, wait, I don't want to work a 9 to 5. I think that's an individual mindset. That's what each individual person has that belief, and they're entitled to that belief. And I think we all should. We all should try to find other avenues rather than the easier route, which is working a 9 to 5 in corporate America and having quote unquote stability, right? Being told what to do. Some people like that and some people enjoy it. And that's why I think this whole going back fully remote, it's not going to happen. There's enough people out there, enough people who need jobs where they want you to go into the office. That's exactly what they're going to do. Because let's be very honest, not everyone can have the ability to just work from home. It's just not always the case. Now, it's great with all this technology that's out, all this AI these companies are pushing, that they give you that option, right? I think that's the fair part. They give you that option. But to say like in 10, 15 years, like everyone's going to rebel and there's not going to be 9 to 5s anymore, right? Like the way it is now, I don't think so. What do you guys think?
And also, let's be realistic, 90% of these corporate 8 to 5 jobs that people are getting out of school right now, and when I graduated college, right, can all really be done by AI here pretty soon. A lot of these just menial tasks like implementing data into a spreadsheet or something, it's going to be able to be done by AI. So a lot of these jobs are going to be gone and a lot of people are going to be out of work. So with that being said, I believe that it's going to turn from a 9 to 5 culture to more of an independent contracting culture. I believe between AI coming and people just not wanting to go sit behind a computer screen for 45 hours a week, it's going to lead to more of an independent contracting type world where businesses are going to hire people who just have a specific skill set that they need for a short-term period, and then they'll move on. Whereas an independent contractor, you're just going to be looking for job to job to job. That loyalty that used to be a thing for a worker and their company is no longer a thing because there's no trust. People don't trust companies to keep them employed, right? There's no such thing as a pension.
No, he is right though. He is right. This guy's a smart kid. You could tell he has a lot of time in his hand and he's thinking this through, because that's something that's happening with a lot of people right now who graduated college and is seeing the landscape and is seeing how AI could possibly replace their jobs, which they are. right? AI is replacing a lot of those entry level positions, right? Those entry levels is all being replaced by AI because a lot of the tasks was mundane. But if you ask me, I think those roles were bullshit anyway. A lot of people came out of college highly educated, right? Highly educated, and they're good enough for the job. Making them do emails or like filing and stuff is just ridiculous, right? All this manual, tedious work is ridiculous. They have the right to step up, right, and get a position that's more analytical, that allow them to use the skill. Now, whew, he said a whole lot, man. He really did. And I will say this: the good thing about this conversation that a lot of people are having now is you start to question, you know, the landscape of the workforce because it is different. It really is different. And thinking that we're all going to be independent contractors, I'll be honest with you, the older that I got, I always had that mentality, right? I started having that mentality, which is a 9 to 5, right, is great. And working for a corporation is great. It has its benefits. But thinking that a 9 to 5, like thinking that the corporation you work for, like they're doing you a favor, is where I think so many people messed up. So many people get into so much debt and they put themselves in a position where they need the 9 to 5. When in reality, it shouldn't be that way. It should be like you have a skill that you're providing to the company, and in the same time they're rewarding you with the pay. But you don't have this crazy attachment to this company, or you're extremely dependent on the company. And if you ask me, if you're accumulating all this debt and your lifestyle inflation is just ridiculous, and now you're just complaining because you want more money because of the lifestyle choices that you made. Now, right, it got nothing to do with corporate America. It has a lot to do with your spending habits. Now, I understand during these times now with inflation and the cost of living being so high, that to me pisses me off. It's like how you're not getting the at least decent raises to accommodate the inflation or the cost of living is not matching. Right? Inflation is like 3%, right? Almost close to 4% this year, 2025. And the average raise is like 1.5%. And this is continuously happening throughout the year. So with that trend, the raises is just getting eaten alive by inflation. Your money is eroding. But, you know, that's a tough one, man. I really don't think, well, you guys let me know what you think. I really don't think a 9 to 5 is going to disappear. I really think it's always going to be around because people are going to continue being in debt and they're going to feel like they have no other choice.
There's a constant fear of, am I still going to have a job next year with AI coming in and everything? Am I still going to be working here? So there's no trust. And then employees, if they find a higher paying opportunity, rightfully so, are going to leave for that opportunity. So employers are not necessarily very trustworthy of their employees, right? They look at employees as a number, and that employee is usually very replaceable. So they don't really care about you. That lack of trust was not a thing 30, 40, 50 years ago, right? A lot of people who entered the workforce at the time, like our parents or grandparents, right? There was a trust where when you joined a company, it was your expectation that you're probably going to be at that company for the rest of your life. But these companies just kind of treat you like a number now. And when they make you sit behind a computer screen and there's not a whole lot of value that you're providing to society, it makes you feel pretty worthless, right? At least that's how it would make me feel. And that's ultimately what led me to pursue the self-employment journey that I'm on, and quitting the whole 9 to 5 thing. I just couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah, but see, the thing about it is a 9 to 5 also is a way to sharpen your skills, right? And to learn a trade, like to be behind some type of manager. I know nowadays not many good managers. There's a few. If you're lucky enough, you had a good manager where he could teach you the ways, learn the ropes, and that way you could then go ahead and start your own business if you want. And I certainly agree with him as well. A lot of these corporations, it's not a change that they don't care about you. They never really did. Just never really did. This is back in the days, the whole being loyal was like a two-way street because the employee would not want to leave. He has a job, he's happy he has a job. And sometimes, people are just happy to just have a job. But nowadays, it's not the case. It's not the case at all. These corporations are the same. They fire you for any moment, the same way we could leave for every moment. And nowadays, people's resumes have like 4 different positions because everyone keeps on moving because, unfortunately, if you want to build wealth and you want to advance, staying in a company or in a position, I should say, for that long of a period is not going to help you. And sometimes you need to jump companies, jump departments, and move around so much to build wealth. But yeah, but Gen Zs, man, he looks like a young guy, so I'm assuming he's a Gen Z. They're challenging the system, and I think that's a good thing. I think you should always challenge, the status quo, right? You should always challenge it and pursue whatever it is that you want to pursue. If you think it's wrong, then go ahead and just change your trajectory and do what you want to do. But thinking that the masses is going to follow that mindset, I don't feel like that's going to happen. I really don't. I really don't. Because once again, there's so many people out there who need a job. They need that insurance. They want to get the 401k match. They want all the benefits that do come from a 9 to 5. And most importantly, the stability. Even though you might lose your job, yeah, but to some people, they like the stability of just going in, clocking out, and then that's it. Well, guys, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Do you think the 9 to 5 will not exist anymore? Or do you feel like it's always going to be around? But now we're a lot smarter and we know we need to squeeze the living juice out of these corporations to get what we want, to get all the benefits rather than just going to a 9 to 5 and just getting a paycheck. Well, drop a comment down below, guys. Let me know how you feel. Hit the like, leave a comment, subscribe. Catch you guys in my next video. Peace.